There are moments in life when just one sentence from someone is enough to make your heart tremble, when just one cold glance can throw your mind into chaos for the entire day. Some people drive through crowded streets while feeling like their mind is about to explode. Some people wake up in the middle of the night because their thoughts refuse to stop. Some people sit among their family, yet inside they feel unbearably alone. And the saddest part is, most of us spend our lives trying to change the outside world, while forgetting that the first place that needs healing is our own mind. Today, I want to share with you a very simple secret. A small secret, but one that can save you from your darkest days. A secret that ancient people understood thousands of years ago. A secret that requires no money, no medicine, no escaping into mountains or deep forests. The only thing you truly need is your breath and the ability to feel grateful for life. It sounds simple, but very few people truly understand its power. There is something strange about human life. When people suffer, they often forget how to breathe. Not that they completely stop breathing, but their breath becomes short, fast, shallow, broken. The entire body becomes tense like a stretched wire. The shoulders tighten, the jaw becomes stiff, the heart beats faster, and the mind begins creating thousands of storms. People think their thoughts are what creates suffering, but the truth is, the body and the mind always move together. A chaotic breath creates a chaotic mind, and a chaotic mind creates an even more restless breath. That is the endless cycle that traps so many people in anxiety without knowing how to escape. In the original teaching of the video, the main message was this: when people fall into stress and tension, they should breathe deeply through the nose, exhale very slowly, pause gently between breaths, relax the body, relax the throat, relax the muscles, then return to natural breathing. And after that, learn to feel grateful for what already exists in life. That was the core message of the original video. But today, we are going much deeper, because hidden behind those few simple minutes is a great truth about how human beings rediscover inner peace. Many studies about mindfulness and meditation have shown that focusing on the breath can bring the mind back to the present moment, help reduce negative thought loops, and calm the nervous system. A monk once said, "When the human mind falls into panic, do not try to fight your thoughts. Return to your breath, because the breath always lives in the present moment, while thoughts usually live in the past or the future." And the greatest suffering of human beings is living in places they cannot truly touch. The past is already gone. The future has not arrived. Yet people spend most of their lives trapped there. Very few people truly live in this moment. Very few people truly feel that they are alive. I once met a middle-aged man. He was very successful. He had a company, a large house, a beautiful car. Everyone who looked at him believed he was happy. But one night, he called me at almost 3 in the morning. His voice was shaking. He said he had not been able to sleep for many months. His mind was filled with endless voices. Fear of losing his company, fear of his children failing, fear of sickness, fear of growing old, fear of losing everything. He said it felt as if his own mind was slowly consuming him. I did not say much. I simply told him to open the window, sit quietly, and breathe. Take a deep breath through the nose. Exhale very slowly. After each exhale, stay still for a few seconds. Do nothing. Do not force positive thinking. Do not force yourself to be strong. Just breathe. 10 minutes later, he cried. A man nearly 50 years old crying like a child. Then he said, for the first time in many years, he truly felt alive. That is the strange beauty of breathing. It does not only bring oxygen into the lungs, it pulls the human soul back into the body. It is like a thread connecting a lost mind back to reality. Many teachings about mental relaxation also emphasize that deep breathing through the nose and slow exhaling can activate the body's relaxation state, calm stress, and guide the mind back into peace. Modern people are very good at running, but they forget how to stop. And a person who never learns to stop will eventually lose themselves. Have you noticed? When you get angry, your breathing changes. When you feel anxious, your breathing changes. When you are afraid, your breathing changes. That is why the ancient masters understood something very important. If you want to calm the mind, first learn to calm the breath. Some people search for peace through shopping, parties, travel, or endless scrolling on their phones. But after everything, when the night becomes quiet, they still feel empty inside. Because true peace does not come from escaping emotions. It comes from the ability to sit quietly with yourself. That is why so many people are afraid of silence. Because in silence, all the voices inside finally begin to speak, and they realize they have ignored themselves for far too long. In Buddhism, there is a very deep teaching. Suffering is not the real enemy. Ignorance is. People do not suffer only because of painful events. They suffer because they do not understand the true nature of life. Everything changes. Everything is temporary. Yet people still try to hold on forever, to control forever, to force life to follow their desires forever. And when life does not follow their expectations, they become angry, disappointed, hopeless. But the truth is, the wind is not wrong for blowing, the rain is not wrong for falling, and life is not wrong for changing. What truly hurts us is the resistance inside ourselves. There is a story I deeply love. A young man once came to a meditation master. He said his mind was full of chaos, negative thoughts, and endless suffering. The master did not answer immediately. He simply handed the young man a glass of water, then added a handful of salt, and asked him to drink it. The young man immediately complained that it tasted terrible. Then the master brought him to a large lake. He added the same handful of salt into the lake, and asked the young man to drink again. This time, the water was fresh and peaceful. The master smiled and said, "The pain in life is like that handful of salt. Life does not decide how much you suffer. Your heart does." When the mind is small, even a tiny wound can feel like hell. But when the heart becomes wide enough, even the strongest storm becomes only passing rain. And the thing that makes the heart expand is not money, but awareness, the ability to see life through gratitude. That is the second powerful message from the original teaching. After the breath calms the mind, begin to practice gratitude. Be grateful that you are still alive. It sounds simple, but think carefully. How many people woke up this morning without another chance to see the sunrise? How many people in hospitals wish they could feel healthy like you right now? How many rich people are deeply lonely? How many famous people silently struggle with depression? Yet most of us only focus on what we lack, instead of appreciating what we already have. That is why gratitude has such deep healing power. It helps people stop looking at life through the eyes of lack, and begin to see life through the eyes of abundance. When gratitude grows, greed becomes weaker, jealousy becomes weaker, the fear of losing things also becomes weaker, because people who truly appreciate the present moment no longer live trapped inside fear of the future. A young woman once sent me a message. She had been betrayed after 8 years in a relationship. All of her dreams about marriage had collapsed. She completely lost herself. She did not want to meet anyone. She did not want to continue living. Every day she only cried. Then one day, at her lowest moment, she sat alone in a park. There she saw an elderly woman selling lottery tickets. The weather was cold, but the old woman was still smiling, still greeting strangers with gentle eyes. The young woman asked her, "How can you still smile like this?" The old woman answered with a very simple sentence, "Being alive is already a blessing. Many people wish for life, but no longer have the chance." Those words left the young woman speechless. That night, for the first time in many months, she sat down quietly, took a deep breath, and wrote down everything she still had: her parents, her health, her legs to walk, her eyes to see, and a heart still capable of feeling pain, which meant she was still capable of love. And from that day on, she slowly began to heal, not because life changed overnight, but because her perspective changed. And that is the most important thing. When your perspective changes, your whole world changes. Many teachings about mindfulness also explain that gratitude and returning attention to the present moment can reduce stress, help people find peace, and slowly heal the heart in the middle of a pressured modern life. But there is one very big mistake many people make. They believe peace means having no more problems. No, real peace is not when all problems disappear. Real peace is when problems are still there, but inside, you stop panicking. Just like a lake surface, the wind can still blow, but the water no longer becomes muddy. A truly mature person is not someone who never suffered. It is someone who has gone through deep pain, but still keeps their gentleness. That is the greatest strength. Not winning against others, but not losing yourself in this chaotic world. I realize that most people today live too fast. Eat fast, talk fast, love fast, get angry fast, give up fast. Everything is rushed. And then they wonder why their heart is not at peace. A tree cannot grow strong in constant storms. A soul needs the same quiet moments, space to breathe, and time to heal. Modern society teaches us how to compete, but rarely teaches us how to return to ourselves. Many people succeed on the outside, but fail on the inside. They have money, but cannot sleep. They have fame, but feel empty. They have thousands of followers, but don't know who they really are. In Buddhist teaching, the mind is like water. If you keep stirring it, you will never see the bottom. But when the water becomes still, everything becomes clear. Sometimes what we need is not more effort or more knowledge, but less chaos and knowing when to stop. I once lived with heavy pressure. Work never stopped. My mind was always tense at night. I still thought about tomorrow. When I woke up, I already felt tired. One day, I sat and watched an old man selling iced tea by the roadside. He just sat there, pouring tea, smiling at customers. Wind blew through the trees. He was so calm and peaceful. I asked him, "Do you ever worry?" He smiled and said, "I do worry, but worrying does not stop the rain from falling, so I might as well enjoy this cup of tea." I stayed silent for a long time. Then I realized, a peaceful person is not someone without difficulties, but someone who does not let difficulties swallow their heart. That is true wisdom. Not talking about big principles, but living lightly in this heavy life. There is something beautiful in our breath. It always gives us a chance to start again. Even if you were angry a minute ago, just stop and breathe deeply. Everything already feels different. Even if you felt hopeless an hour ago, just sit still and return to your body. The darkness begins to soften. Breath is like a secret door. Every time you return to it, you return to yourself. Many modern mindfulness methods also encourage observing the breath to escape overthinking and bring awareness back to the body and the present moment. If you are very tired today, I want you to remember this. You do not need to solve your whole life right now. You only need to breathe. Live fully in this present moment. Do not force yourself to be strong all the time. Do not punish yourself for past mistakes. Everyone has moments of weakness. Everyone has cried in silence. Everyone has felt lost. But what matters is, after all that, you can still return to yourself. The greatest lesson in life is, happiness does not come from having everything. It comes from being at peace with what you already have. A deep breath. Waking up in the morning, someone who still loves you, a simple meal, a quiet evening sky. If you are listening to this, try doing this tonight. Put down your phone, sit quietly for a few minutes. Breathe in deeply through your nose. Breathe out slowly. Relax your shoulders. Relax your face. Relax your heart. Then say to yourself, "I am still alive. I am still here." And that is already a miracle. Life may not be perfect yet, but perhaps those cracks are exactly where the light enters. And perhaps after all the pain you have been through, you will become a deeper, gentler, and more understanding person. Because sometimes, the strongest awakened souls are those who have walked through the deepest darkness. Remember this, among millions of things out there, the most important is keeping peace in your own heart. When your mind is peaceful, everything feels lighter. When your mind is chaotic, even having the whole world is not enough.